All right, welcome back to For the Kingdom
podcast, baby.
It's been a little minute, but we back.
We got good reviews for the last 2 episodes. Thank you all for your feedback.
Yes, we appreciate y'all.
We appreciate all of it.
1000%. So today we're going to jump into, I know the last time we left off, we was talking about Mikey.
Yes.
And his little...
No. Don't make it seem like it was that far.
No, but wait, because I'm confused because I'm really not understanding how I didn't know this until like eons later. Like, I feel a way about that. Like,
well, don't feel
how
away.
Did this happen?
What happened was you was getting dressed, crazy. And I was in your room waiting for you to get dressed. So you was in the bathroom, and so Mikey now comes in the room and closes the door and slams it. So he's like, yeah, so what's up now? And I'm like, okay, what are you doing, little man? He was like, yeah, you think you're going to be with my mom's? So he closed the door and he swings on me. So I grab him up. I yoke him up. We
have to, because we never got to from the last episode. How did this happen? Because I'm very concerned because as a parent, I feel like I still want to correct him to this day. Like, I really want to correct him, y'all, because this is insane. But like he really tried you?
He tried me. He swung and then he was like, so what's up now? So what's up? So at first I thought he was joking, but when I seen him swing, I knew he was serious. Wow. And when he did that, we tussled and then I slammed him around and then I grabbed him up. And then you was like, yo, everything all right? And you heard us breathing hard and you heard him, you seen him, right? Because I was dragging him up. And then he was just like, yo, I was like, we good. And I understood why he did it. Right. The reason why I didn't tell you is because this was a kid that was simply trying to protect his mom.
Right.
And what he was telling me was he said he didn't want to see his mom hurt again. Wow. And he kind of felt betrayed because you introduced me as a friend.
Right.
And then he noticed that we were more than friends. Mm-hmm. So I respected that, because I was like, it shows you that kids are impacted by, our relationships.
Right. Absolutely. 1000%. And it's funny though, because I feel like a part of me was upset as a parent. Like, parents, I know y'all, that sounds crazy, right? Yeah. You got somebody that's a grown up and a child. Mikey was what, 10?
10.
Right, 10 years old, and this is how he's responding to a friend of mine. So as a parent, you already know I feel away. But on the other spectrum of it, it's just like, wow, like it just shows, it's a testament to how much like your children love you, how much they're watching, how much they're affected by the things that you go through. And not only that, it's a testament to you not telling me was like, it just shows how impactful and how your relationship, like you valued having a relationship with him over, like correcting him in that moment. And I feel like that was like the pillar of what we now could call our blended family. And I just think that was just so powerful that you was able to do that in that moment, or just understand him in that moment and just come from a place of understanding versus like authority. Like, because there's a time and place for that. But I really commend you, because I'm not going to hold y'all. Like, ain't no kid swinging on me 10 years old. Like, I'm going to have to tell a parent, because it's not going down like that.
Well, what I wanted to build was trust and let them know that I understood.
Right.
A lot of young people never feel like they're understood.
Right.
They feel like how they feel, what they think is never considered in anything.
Right.
So I wanted him to see, like, yo, I consider how you feel and I understand how you feel.
Right.
Now, eventually, of course, I corrected him because I'm an adult and you should respect me for not swinging on me. But I think he's seen that, yo, I was heard. We have this thing called earning the right to be heard.
I like that.
And I think that at that moment, I earned that.
Right.
So now when I speak to him and then when he speaks to me, it became a respect thing, because he was like, you understood why I did this.
Right.
And so that's what we can learn from blended families.
Right.
How to problem solve or how to deal with different things.
Or how to just go into a situation like that.
Yes.
Like, you don't just come on a scene or come in the block, like, and just think that you gonna just run stuff or it's gonna go my way or the highway. Like, I think that when, it's so funny because we're recording this podcast today, and there was a like trend like on like TikTok and Instagram that I was like, oh, I want to jump on this. And I was like, this is so crazy. Like the Lord is just so divine because that happened today. And it just, I was able to see, and I got so emotional, like creating that reel, like of showing like when I was like, yo, I got a son, and like, okay, I know, like, but like your relationship building with Mikey is just something that I'm just so blessed. And I just thank the Lord every day for remembering me and just like listen, like I feel like I've done a lot of things wrong, a lot in life, y'all, but the one thing I did right was choose you to be Mikey's bonus dad, because we don't do no steps up here.
We don't do steps.
We do bonus. We don't do steps. Ain't no steps in this house but the steps, okay? Yeah. So, but no, I mean, I just think that it's just so powerful the way that you came in. Like, I feel like you loved me, you wanted to be with me, but you prioritized the relationship with Mikey over our relationship because you knew that that was like really like the foundation of how far we would go. And I think that that's just so profound, like that you was able to know how to do that.
If I was going to be with you, I had to understand I had to be a part of his life too.
Right.
That is your child.
Right.
You know, he is not out of the equation. It's not like, well, it's just me and you, forget him. And then there's the natural thing that's within us as men, as Black men, as Christian men, especially, that we're all supposed to play a role of a father to any child that's around us. We're like that. There's a village that where all the males are like fathers and mentors. It's so real that the children in the village don't even know who their father is because there's so many men that's able to step in to meet whatever need. And I didn't know what need he had. I didn't know the relationship with his father. Right. I didn't ask. All I know is if I'm going to be with you, he matters. If I'm going to be with you, whatever needs that he had that I was able to provide for him, it had to be met. And so,
but what I don't want to cut you off, but I really want to just tap in before we just get all deep into the conversation about the blended family. But the biggest component that I think is so important for our audience to know is that Mikey does have a father, and his father is active in his life, and they have the best relationship. I mean, I think it's just so beautiful. Like that's your boy right there. Like I mean, like, and then what was that like navigating that?
We gotta change this ignorance, this thing where it's like it has to be a competition, right? You know, we in this together, right? You know, our mission is to make this young man be the best man he can be and walk into every step God has ordered in his life. Amen. And that was the mission. And when you put feelings aside and focus on the mission, then we both can do this father thing at the same time. The blended family thing can work if everybody's focused on the mission.
Right, because what's better than one dad, too? And I just think that Mikey is just so blessed because he has both of y'all and he gets to see both of them show up in spaces for him. I think that's just so dope, and I just love y'all relationship. I remember recently talking to him about something that pertained to Mikey, and he was like, not that you and Reggie ain't gonna work out, but I'm just telling you, that's my boy. Like he gonna be that's my homie forever. Yeah. Like I'm like, I just love that. I just think that's just so dope.
And I think also,
and how does that make you feel though? Like just knowing that you have a positive relationship, because I know there was things like at the beginning you probably felt like, oh, like this is going to be different, challenging, like to really be serious with a woman, with a guy. So like, how did that make you? Like, how did you feel? Like coming in, like, did you think it was going to be that way? Like, were you a little bit?
I was optimistic. I didn't know. I was. One thing, I have 2 older brothers, right, and I've seen them be in their relationships be, whatever. And my boys be bonus dads or play a role as a male figure. So I've seen that they were able to do it. So it gave me confidence to be able to do it, myself. And I've never seen them try to flex or impose their, like, you know, their little, it wasn't egotistical with them.
Right.
So with me being able to see that, I just took those practices that I learned from them, from my boys, and then I put it into this situation.
And that's what I was going to say, like, how, like, what would you tell people? Like,
yeah, it's not about pride. It's not about ego. It's about the mission. I tell all men, it's about the mission.
You hear that, guys?
What is the mission for this child to be everything God has created them to be and a success? It ain't about who's the greatest dad. It's about everybody playing a role in the village and making all of this possible.
And doing your part, right? Like
doing your part.
And your part can be like, wherever I'm lacking, like, if you could just pick up, like, that's all that matters. Like, it's not about, like, yo, I'm being a super dad, put the cape on. It's like, okay, cool. Like, Mike can't be there, I'm going to show up. Like, you know, like, or Reg can't be there, like, I'm going to do, or Reg can't do this, or all right, I'm going to step in. Like, that's just what it was about. And I just think that it was just so fire.
And when you raising and when you raising a child anyway, everybody in their own way has that parent anyway, because you got the community leader, you got your sport coaches, you got the, you know, I grew up from the Bronx, so you got the little drug dealer dude that's around there that say, yo, man, don't do this. Yo, go to school. Yo, don't smoke weed.
Right.
Like, yo,
so
do
it really
something better.
Takes a village.
So it truly takes such a village. So it's like you have to automatically know within yourself, it is your requirement as a man to know that if you're going to be around any child, it is your requirement to be a part of their village, even if it's you're the one that just gives them little sound advice.
Right. And also, too, ladies, I'm going to just speak from a lady's perspective. For me, like, I think the biggest part was, like, despite whatever the relationship was with me and my son's father, I never, like, tried to jade that, like, with my child or with my husband, because, like, people want to always, like, seek revenge. And, like, the Bible tells us, like, you know, like, we don't do that. Like, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Like, that's for God to do. Like, you don't go, like, God is my defender. Like, in that situation specifically, I'm like, listen, whatever happened. But this is my son's father. I respect him, and I love him too. I love the relationship that he was trying to have with his son, and I wanted to keep that. So I never wanted to take what me and him went through and put that as, like, a damper into how he would build with Reggie or how he would build with Mikey, because then at that point, like, I'm not helping. Like, I'm actually being destructive to the relationships that was trying to be built. So, ladies out there, if you are in a situation where you're blending your family, you are, like, literally, like, you're the leader of how that whole interaction is going to go. And you have to make sure and just ensure that you're being mature, you're not being bitter, and you have to let God... Like, I don't care what this man did to you. You have to forgive, and you have to allow them to have a relationship with their son. And if your husband is mature enough to have it, because there was a time that you had a better relationship with Mike than I did. And I'm being serious. Like, this is for real. Like, and I just want to tell these that this is, like, we're being honest. Like, we're being honest. Yeah. He had a better relationship with Mike than I did at one point, and I thank him for that, because that's what helped Mikey maintain his relationship with his father and with Reggie. Yeah. And then it obviously, when I grew more spiritually, it helped me then at that point be like, okay, like, I'm being petty, I'm being childish, I'm being, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not being Christ-like. Like, we're supposed to want to be, like, what would Jesus do, right? Like, and I was not. Like, because if what would Jesus do was a person, is you.
Yeah.
I just need the people to know.
I ain't perfect. But,
no, he's not perfect.
I mean?
But in certain situations, you have that mind of Christ. Like, you're not being petty.
When we talk about Christ, Christ always understood the mission. Right. You get what I'm saying? He knew I was here to save humanity. I was here to bring grace, bring mercy. I was here to, if you look at the parables that, you know what I'm saying, that he taught, if you look at the people that he met, when he met the woman at the well,
right?
At the well, he understood. My mission wasn't to judge her.
Right.
My mission was to show her grace. My mission was to show her that she's worth it.
Worth it.
Yes. And when we get out of our own selfish pride, ego, and personal feelings and jaded perspectives of the world and understand the mission, we will see how more things in our communities and blended families can be more popular. You know, we'll cut down.
And more effective.
And it takes everybody learning from each other. Like, with blended families, there was ways that, I've learned from your family. Your family's very upfront.
Right.
Very direct. They're going to tell you like it is.
Mm-hmm.
My family takes somewhat of the quiet, peaceful route. We'll say, you know what, there's a time and a place for all things. Now, how that helps, we've learned that from each other. You will be like, oh, I got to address this now. But then you've learned from me, there is a time and a place for all things. And then I've learned that, Reggie, don't let that slide. And I'm like,
you can't always
you can't always sweep things under the rug because eventually the dirt will start to show.
And then guess what? The carpet comes up.
And then
when the carpet comes up,
now you got an even bigger mess. So it's like what people need to understand, the power of blended families is you get to learn different tools. You get to change your own perspective on things. It gives a different perspective on things,
and you know. Change the trajectory.
There you go.
You know what I remember? And it just it dawned on me. Remember when we had our marriage therapy, like our pre-marital counseling with my pastor, Pastor Lester Taylor in a Community Baptist Church. And I remember him telling us, and I'll never forget it. He said, listen, when you come from a family, when you go into a marriage, you don't take everything that you got from your family. You take the things that were good and then you leave the bad. That was bad. So we literally took that and we said, you know what? This is good. This is good. This is bad. And then you create your own thing, right? And of course, as humans, everything is not going to be good. So then when our children go out and make families, they will then leave what they saw. They may not have liked or made the practice they may not have wanted. But I think that was the most effective thing that we learned in premarital counseling about how we were going to blend our families.
Take the cookbooks, take the barbecues, take the traditional things, some of the traditional things of y'all coming together. Take the love for sports, but you got to leave out that gossiping. You got to leave out that being two-faced.
That fighting.
You got to leave out that fighting spirit. Leave out that that disrespect, the drug use, the all of that things, stuff that is, that causes those generational things and curses. You got to leave that out. You get what I'm saying? And bring in the good. And when you bring in the good, you will watch how blended families will not be as hard as society makes it to be.
Yeah.
And so study your family, learn your family's history, learn where they learn, why they're the way that they are, why they're wired the way that they are. Do a real study, a real, a diagnosis? You know what I'm saying? And understand the contextual standpoint, contextual things of them. So now, when you take those good things that you learn from them and bring it to your family, you'll be like, all right, now we got an amazing situation. And we did that.
Right. And what I love about what you're saying about those good things and those, like, leaving the bad things, I feel like the best thing that we ever did was something that I don't think one of us saw, because I come from a family that we may be, tell it is how it is, and it may come off as disrespectful, and we never really like sat down and said like, oh, I'm sorry. It was just more so like we just like showered each other with stuff, like, because we truly did love each other, right? But it was like kind of toxic. And then I know you come from like your family, like you said, like there was times where people struggled to apologize, but one thing we learned and we took from also therapy, because we went to marital therapy, and we took like when we argue in front of our kids or things happen in our household, we always apologize. Right in front of our kids.
And
too.
listen, let me tell you something.
Thing. Like, that's important.
They give this advice to say, don't ever argue in front of your children. That's not true.
Nope.
You need to show your children that things do happen, even while in all relationships. Do not have your child have a culture shock because they have a disagreement with someone that they have a relationship with.
They're gonna be like,
I'm not saying disrespect your mate or anybody in front of them, but if they see you disagree, they will understand that in all relationships there comes disagreements because we're all different people.
But it's how do you go through that? How do you navigate? And then when you do something that you hurt somebody, you apologize, not because you feel like you did something wrong, but because the person is hurt or the person is offended. So we practice that a lot, and I just love that about us.
And
we'll go through our stuff, and we'll be like, Mikey, come. We're going to all, I'm sorry about that. Like, and he gets to see that, so he can't see like,
he gets to see that the most loving Christian saved people have disagreements. We are all shaped in sin, and we're all shaped in sin. And we also have our iniquities, and we also have some things that we got from the devil, and we got some things that we got from our families and our genetic pool. So when you have all of that in you, that's why you need a savior. Mm-hmm. You are going to have disagreements. Mm-hmm. The heart is deceitful. Cool, yes. And we're going to always be leading by our hearts, which can cause us to make bad decisions. Yeah. And what we're trying to say to you today is take those good things that you're learning from your family. Wow. There are good things in every family, even if you come from underprivileged, underdeveloped family, whatever you come from, mm-hmm. whether it was grandma had the best mac and cheese or Sunday dinners, right? Even if for 15 minutes and y'all sitting with that Sunday dinner, y'all didn't argue, you know that coming together is important. Right. You understand that unity is an idea. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we wanted to say in this, what do we call blended family episode, that we want you guys to know, don't be afraid to blend your family. Mm-hmm. Go in there prayerful, go in there with love, go in there with grace, and be willing to learn. Be willing to learn from your side and your mate's side or your friend's side. This could be any relationship that you might have.
And just realizing or just making sure that you're instilling good things in your child. I know in Proverbs,
train up a child in the way 24. He should go, mm-hmm. and they will not depart.
Exactly. So it's important that all parties are just looking at the wellness of the child and mm-hmm. trying to train the child in a way that is going to be conducive and productive for the way that they're going to move on in life. And I think that as parents, it starts with us.
Look what it says. Train up a child. It doesn't say mom, train up a child. It doesn't say just dad, train up a child. It lets you know that this is a co-op thing. Yeah. That this is a collaboration. Village. This is a community. This is a village thing mm-hmm. that we want everybody to get out of this episode.
Yeah. And before we end, I just want to say thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm just so grateful that the Lord blessed me with someone that I could do life with and that I could raise children with, because you be doing this dad thing, man.
I'm trying.
You be doing this dad thing.
But let me ask you a question that I've been trying to figure out. When it came to bringing me into your life, right? Did the way that I treat you impact how you dealt with Mikey? Do you think that it created somewhat of a better relationship, or do you think that it created
I feel like there was an expectation now that had to be met, right? Yes. Because the respect was so high that it was like, nah, like you set the bar high. So I think that it did it helped our relationship long term. Yes. Because he now had to not necessarily live up to a standard, but he had to get it right. Like he couldn't, he had no excuse to not be respectful or be a good son, or and also for me too, I felt like you gave me a lot of kind of accountability. I didn't have the right to be a dictator to my child. I'm the mom, I'm big, you're small, you're the child, I'm the parent. It just gave us that room to really look at each other as humans and people. Amen. And give grace, when it was needed, and also forgiveness, because the Bible says that if you don't forgive, you will not be forgiven, right? So mm-hmm. I feel like you set that standard and that tone, and I just think that it was just the most impactful thing that has happened in this whole blended family situation. So,
don't give me all the credit. You had to pick right. You were the one that had to.
I'm giving God all the glory for that.
We give God all the glory. You get what I'm saying? Because you could have looked at my lack, because I'm not, I don't have children.
You didn't have
and been like, maybe he's not fit for the job.
Right.
But it's the God in you that seen the God in me.
Right.
That way we were able to be
say like, let's do this.
exactly be able to do this. So it was your provision, you know, that God gave you that we are where we are today. And so it ain't all me, you know what I'm saying? It's more all God, but
to God
it's definitely, you know, what you've seen and what you wanted around your children. And a lot of parents don't make that decision. They really think about the benefits of me because they're operating off of hurt and lack and what they've, you know, what happened in their past. And they'll say, I don't care. I want a man that's financially stable. I want a man that's this. I rarely hear anybody say, I want a man that is a great example for my children.
Right. And I think
all I hear is me, 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 me.
And sometimes what we don't know, and before we wrap this up, I want to just say this. I think as women, the best thing that you could do is to make a decision for your child, because at the end of the day, our children are truly God's children, and God just lends them to us while they're here on earth. So if you make a decision that's best for your child, well, God's child, I feel like God will bless you in the end. Like you will get what you're looking for, or not necessarily what you're looking for. Sometimes you're going to get what you need and not what you want. And what you need is always more important than what you really want, because what you want, you may not need it. So God knows best. And at the end of the day, he is going to make the best decision. So I would just say, surrender yourself to God. Do what's right by your children, because God entrusted you with those children, and God will make it and turn it around for your good.
Amen.
I could tell you that. I'm a testament to that. So that's it. We love y'all. And we hope that we helped y'all to understand how important it is to bring the things that we spoke about when you are blending your family. Because at the end of the day, God makes no mistakes. He knows what he's doing, but you just got to do your part. You got to show up and you got to be mature. Maturity is key.
Maturity is key.
And dying to your flesh, because the flesh, listen, there's so many times I was being mature. You got to die to your flesh daily. Every day you got to wake up and be like, you know what? Today I'm going to die to my flesh because my child needs it. Like my child needs me to be a whole healthy mom that's operating out of love and not bitterness and not hatefulness, because your child will thank you, and their life and the trajectory of their life will thank you as well. So we love y'all.
But so the prayer assignment this week is
I got hyped too quick.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I got hyped. I was like, for the
No.
kingdom.
But no, we'll get there. The prayer assignment I would say is pray. Ask God to continue to highlight the good things that come with your family and to deliver you from the bad, the traumas, the things that have hurt you, and do some unlearning of certain behaviors as you go into your future. So pray, ask God to heal you and restore you. That's your prayer assignment. And we the hoes.
We are the Owlies.
And for the Kingdom Podcast, baby.
We love y'all. Bye.